Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are hopping into Wild West Online. So earlier today a gameplay trailer came out for this and this game has me absolutely excited. What it is here, you're seeing a little bit of customization, a couple of different servers, kind of in the background is going to be the trailer, but what this game is an open world Western. I'm guessing it's probably gonna have some survival elements. Here we're actually in the middle of town. You can see some of the different areas. You got a gun store, saloon, bounty board. This is Stone Creek. There's even a train. Not sure if that thing's gonna be rideable, but there's just so many awesome things that are gonna be happening in this game, and I'm very excited for it. I'm pretty sure it actually should be coming out, or at least like the earliest alpha slash beta should be coming out this summer. Here you can actually see one of the newspapers, which they are going to try to keep up to date with actually like player stuff, things that players do in game. They're gonna want to fill the newspaper with that, which personally I think is really cool. You'll be able to hop into stuff like clothing stores, hop on in. They don't show any of the buying stuff, but you can see him pop on out with a very fresh set of clothes. This man is looking ready to be a Western cowboy. Look at those jeans. Ooh, gotta love those jeans. So first, I just kind of want to walk you guys through what's going on in the trailer. You can see horses that are probably going to be rideable, which has me very excited. You're able to get a not a whisk, I wanted to say whiskey because we just saw whiskey on that sign. Here's the bar where you're going to be able to interact with players. You can see there's actually some different games you can play. What appears to be a dancing girl upstairs, so potentially get some dirty stuff going on, who knows? But you're gonna be able to play card games with other players, that type of jazz. Here you can see a little bit of roulette, and it seems that saloon is really going to be kind of the center of all of your fun and activities. Here they're just out back. You're gonna be able to take stuff, kind of like how in Skyrim with stealing, you'll actually be able to steal stuff in game. That is one thing that you have to be a little bit careful of. There you can see that whiskey, for example, doesn't belong to the person playing. He can steal it if someone saw him. He might get a little bit of a bounty on him, but no one did. He's able to steal it. He hightails out of there, and there was an outhouse. Maybe if he was, feeling a little bit, the bowels were a little bit clogged after that, he could have helped himself out there. But then we're checking out the rest of the town a little bit. You can see it's a solid sized town. There should be multiple of these in game. This is just Stone Creek or whatever there was. You can see some of those wanted signs throughout, and here is the giant billboard where you can go, you can redeem, and you can actually pick people that you want to go out and get. So these bounties are accumulated, and these are actual players as well, and these bounties are accumulated. There's something you have to survive with, but they're also something that other players can cash in on. And here this man, as you can see, is riding on his gorgeous horse throughout this gorgeous world, and he is going hunting. He wants to find one of these men, and he wants to cash in, because cash, after all, is what makes the world go round. And in a Wild West, that's not going to be any different. Cash is going to be quite important. Here it appears that there's going to be some sort of little bit of a house, a little bit of a settlement that you can head on over to. The cool thing about these is you can actually this should be like a fast travel point as well. So this is kind of like a player's area where he's able to do his own stuff, kind of have his own shindig, that type of stuff. And it actually allows you to fast travel to other cabins and other areas that are kind of similar in function to that. There you can get a little bit of a glimpse of the map. A lot of it seems to be hidden, so hopefully it's going to be a lot bigger than that tiny revealed glimpse we saw here. You can see the interior of the player. You got a storage chest, someone off there in the distance where you can probably mess around with your clothes, and a workbench over there, which the guy doesn't play with, but you can see is in a beautiful forest. This game looks surprisingly nice. I'm actually really liking it. But there we have the horse, which, as cool as that is actually like eating or drinking. I don't know enough about horses to know if he was eating out of that like trough. I don't know, either or. But that's another great thing about this game, is it's going to have a variety of environments. So here with this forest, it's a pretty stark contrast to kind of like the plains and a little bit more deserty feel we just had. But here it's definitely a lot more grassy, and up ahead we actually have the person who's playing, his friend, who set up a camp. Camps are temporary areas that you can set up, and they allow you to do stuff like rest, rendezvous with your friends, and rendezvousing is exactly what they're doing as they prepare to try to take on their target. But here you can get another beautiful glimpse of this world, some of what it has to offer. You can see that gun actually on that other dude's back, which was looking pretty nice, and then transition into seeing a couple people in the distance. They're also at what appears to be a temporary camp. Him and his friend, oh, we got a third person up there in the tent. So this is pretty cool that the lighting is actually so kind of, I don't want to say advanced because they might not be super advanced. I don't know enough technically to say that it's super advanced. But for example, to have lighting like that then appears on the tent, and this guy's gonna go ahead, try to shoot him through the tent based on his shadow, which I think is absolutely cool. So you should see that engagement starting right about now. And then people are alerted, they're going, these are real players, by the way, these aren't just AI. That guy's running around, he kills his friend, guns a-blazing, shots a-firing everywhere, but he gets hunted down, he gets shot down, and his body lays there, probably open to looting, which I don't think unfortunately happens in the trailer, but you do get the reward, which was a pretty fat one there, and that is about it for the trailer. So now that the trailer's done, I got a little bit more to talk about in terms of some more information about the game. So in terms of some information, the game is going to have first and third person cameras that you can switch on the fly, along with an adjustable field of view. You will have one character that you're able to move freely between servers. There are no classes in the game. They're still kind of debating exactly how character progression is going to work, and if they do character progression, it will be skill-based. Clothing and cosmetic items will not have stats, but guns and other usables will. The release will be only for Windows. They might do Mac in the future if there's big enough interest. So if you are a Mac user, make sure you kind of let them know. They're planning an early to mid-summer release for the first alpha. It's going to be open to the public, so it should be coming out hopefully not too far from now. It's going to rely on skills and not so much a leveling system that other games kind of do, where more experienced players are better. This one's going to try and kind of focus more on skills, and it's going to be based on the old west of the late 1800s, early 1900s, but not necessarily historically correct, and it's not going to reference any real world events. They're still working on how deep initial character customization is going to be, but you are going to be able to choose the sex of the character, face, hairstyle, color, and probably skin tone. Awesome news is you're going to be able to own a house farm in-game. You'll be able to customize it and even decorate it to some extent. There's going to be a ton of community-run and managed RP servers. It's going to have emote animations, text chat, voice chat, so it might be perfect for you Wild West role players out there. And thank God, keybinds will be customizable, so you'll be able to assign your keys to whatever you want. And they are going to have an in-game cash shop, but they're going to try to stick that to cosmetic content, and they're going to try to keep it to stuff that actually makes sense. So they're not going to have wacky things like space suits, neon rave suits, or anything. It's going to try to stay in theme to the Wild West. That's actually really good news. You're going to be able to mix and match outfits. They'll have shirts, trousers, and those are just some of the ideas. There are going to be two types of servers. They're going to be official servers with PvP and PvE mixed activities, as well as community managed and run RP servers where the community kind of sets up their own deal happening. You'll be able to group up with other players to form a posse, aka a group in game. And they do have some ideas for kind of more end game stuff, such as raids, but they're trying to keep those under wraps. So they're not revealing too much, and you're actually going to be able to join and create a clan. Joining a clan will have its own benefits, as players will get passive perks that depends on how their clan performs. They're going to have more details on that later this summer. There aren't going to be any factions in Wild West Online. It's up to you to choose to be in the world, who you're going to ride with, that type of stuff. The map's going to be restricted in size. They're expecting it to be kind of bigger than GTA 5 at the start and expand it during the first year of the game's operation. Along with that, some of the weapons in game are going to include stuff such as sharpshooter rifles with integrated scopes. So snipers like me can be very happy, but they're going to be weapons that require skill from players to operate, and they're not going to be super rapid, fast firing or anything. But that's going to be really useful for scouting players, especially if they have like a heightened position. There's going to be a day-night cycle, and it's going to happen pretty much in 1 to 2 hour cycles. That's what it's looking like right now. There's not going to be a limit on number of clan members, so you can go ahead and go ham on that. And right now it's looking like that items will actually have different rarity values. So stuff like common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythical, kind of like that general idea that you see in a lot of games is probably going to be in this game, and that's good news to me because I love loot and shiny stuff, so yeah. And in terms of the guns that there should be pistols, shotguns, repeaters, and anything you would expect in the Wild West, plus a couple experimental guns from the era to kind of keep things interesting. I'm really interested by those experimental guns. In terms of the PvP, they are going to pretty much only have PvP with no restrictions outside of stuff like the main town and settlement, so it's going to pretty much be open game out there. But if you're in town or something, you know, I don't think you're going to just be able to go and shoot someone in the face like, hey, give me that beer. Pew. The map is going to contain a variety of hidden secrets, and it is going to be pretty much a big way of exploring the map, and that type of stuff is going to be how a bunch of the PvE activities are centered around, along with like treasure hunting. You're going to be able to buy your horse. You're not going to be taming it out in the wild or anything. Hunting is something that they are strongly considering as a free expansion later on, but for now, it's not really going to be anything too actively focused on. There is going to be melee combat with both bare hands and melee weapons, which is good to hear, but there will be no droppable items on death, so you're not really going to be looting any players in the PvP environment, it seems like. And one of the things you can actually do in town is become a sheriff deputy, and kind of as that is kind of your role to kind of keep the order around the place. One of the cool things that happen is if you assume one of those roles, you're going to get a special outfit / cosmetics, which is pretty exciting that you'll be able to kind of, you know, be distinctive and that type of stuff. There are not going to be carriages in the game. There are horses, but there aren't going to be carriages right away. It's something they're considering in the future. And another thing that we're talking about is cars. Automobiles are definitely not going to be in the game. Good news for those of you out there who maybe want to have a giant group of people who you just play with for the most part. Private servers are going to be a thing, which is pretty awesome if you don't want to go into a public server and risk stuff like griefing, any of that. So private servers are definitely going to be a possibility for like your friends, your clan, or even just to yourself. They're still looking at if there's going to be wildlife in the initial release. It's something that's pretty high up on the list of things that they really want to get in, but they don't want to really focus on that until the core aspects of the game are in and working as they should be. And like I was talking about the campsites earlier, you're going to be able to create a small campsite that provides healing, access to your stash, etc. for you and the players in your group / posse. And there are going to be weapon skins in the game, it looks like, which is always fun. I love making sure my guns are super customized, super unique looking. And in the game, they're going to have certain guns, cosmetic items, etc., as well as quests that will clearly distinguish good players from the average players. So just kind of from looking at someone, you might be able to tell, oh damn, that man is a badass. And there is going to be traps in the game, so you're actually going to be able to set up traps to catch small animals like rabbits, or set up traps and proximity explosives to try and catch some other players off guard. And just to kind of reiterate, it's going to be an open world persistent map, kind of like Red Dead Redemption, not just like instance sections. It's going to be a large one at that. Ammo is going to be limited, so you're going to have to keep that in check. You're going to have to buy it from NPC controlled shops around the towns and settlement, and you'll actually be able to give some of it to other players if you want to, but there is going to be a limit on the amount you can carry on you at any given time. But at the same time, that brings up this potentially interesting scenario where you and your friend are in a shootout and all of a sudden you're totally out of ammo. You're like, John, throw me the mag. And he just, can you imagine, he drops the mag, you gotta run over, pick it up, you continue shooting out. And that kind of potential of dropping ammo for other players leaves some pretty cool opportunities in the future. They are planning on having hunting, like I said earlier, but also fishing in the post-release expansions, but not in this initial release in the first version of the game that you guys are definitely gonna see on my channel. Make sure you're subscribed for that, by the way, because I am totally going to be playing the hell out of this game. It sounds like so much fun. And like I was talking about gambling earlier, it's not going to be between players. You're going to make bets with the house and receive winnings from the house. There's not going to be any direct gambling from player to player. And in terms of how the alpha itself is going to work, which I imagine a lot of you guys, including me, probably care about, they're planning on having the first round of alpha test happen right around the middle of summer. There's going to be 2 ways to participate in it. You can get a guaranteed slot if you pre-order the game from them, but you can also get access through lotteries, giveaways, etc. on Facebook, Twitter, all that, as well as on their partner sites. Players will be allowed into the alpha in waves, with players who pre-order the game getting first priority, and they plan on distributing at least 5,000 free keys for each stage of the alpha. And in terms of crafting, it doesn't seem like there's going to be weapon crafting or anything like that. For the most part, it seems that you're going to be purchasing your guns from gunsmiths in town, whereas even with some of the rarer guns, you're going to have to find them hidden somewhere in the world or receive it as a reward for completing a mission. And there's going to be a mini-map. It will not show other players, though. It's only going to show players who belong to your clan or your current group / posse. And unfortunately, it does not seem like modding is going to be around. But other than that, that about wraps it up in terms of information for the game. As you guys can see, there's a lot of interesting things in the game that really make me want to like it, because as you guys know, I love playing survival games on the channel. I don't only do survival games, as you guys have seen probably as of late, especially. I'm really trying to do a bunch of stuff, but I'm still going to be playing survival games just because there's so much fun to do, and they really make great YouTube videos, I feel like. So with this game having some of those like survival systems in it, I am very excited for it and very excited for what is going to be coming probably very soon. I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks I could potentially get access to this and make some awesome gameplay videos for you guys, but Other than that, just make sure you're subscribed for some of that gameplay when it hits. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below and by hitting that like button. But other than that, it's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you guys a whole ton for watching. Have yourselves a fan-freaking-tastic day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.